Welcome.
Thank you.
Surprise.
Grazie mille. My new friend from...
thank you millions, right?
From where are you from?
Well, originally?
Yeah.
Canada.
Canada.
Yeah.
Our friend from Canada.
Yeah, I'm from Florida now.
Yeah.
I've been here long enough. I think I'm a local resident. So let's talk about your wines. Talk about yourselves. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
So, my name is Marco Fantinel. I'm a grower, producer in one of the most beautiful places in Earth, which is called Friuli Venezia Giulia.
Yeah, beautiful place.
Yeah, it's a small region. Nobody knows because we are not on the tourism side, of Italy, but we are just 1 hour drive from Venice. And the region is beautiful because we are covered by mountains. We are facing the Adriatic Sea. So I live in the city of Udine. In half an hour you are skiing, in half an hour you are swimming.
Yeah.
So it's just perfect.
And for everybody who doesn't know, Friuli's makes some of the best white wines in the world, really,
Yeah, I would say it's the ultimate destination for a palate, for white wines, because we have a unique terroir that makes the wines unique, I would say.
And Chuck, you are the brand manager, or tell me what the whole...
So I'm the National Sales Director for Sun Goddess.
For Sun Goddess. Cool, very cool. Tell everybody about what Sun Goddess is.
Well, Sun Goddess is a great proposition between Marco Fantinel and Mary J. Blige, right? So this guy, right? So we're so happy to have, just so happy to have this partnership. But most importantly, we're so happy to have Marco in the United States market meet with customers, meet with consumers, and talking about the great and fantastic wines, but also sharing the story of discovery.
And so, how did your collaboration with Mary J. Blige, with Chuck Speed here, how did that all come into being?
So everything happened in New York. I have a friend whose name is Maxwell. He's a singer, R&B, very famous, in U.S., around the world. And he came to visit us in Friuli. He came to the winery. He fell in love for Friuli Venezia Giulia, this secret well kept. And he was in a tour with Mary J. Blige. And he told me, Marco, I want to introduce you to Mary because she's looking to make a Pinot Grigio. She's a Pinot Grigio lover. She's looking for the best region, the best vineyard, the producer that can, make it happen. And so we met in New York about 4 years ago, and after 2 weeks she was visiting with all her staff, and she spent 3-4 days at the winery during the harvest, and she fell in love for Friuli. We were together with my family, my kids, and so she just came back saying, wow, I want to make a Pinot Grigio. This was the first idea, and we came out with our Pinot Grigio Ramato.
And you have all three of the lineup here that we have in Florida available. You said, we talked a little earlier, you said you're going to come out with a red soon in the works, but right now we have very cool Prosecco, 100% Gallara grape, right?
Yeah.
And then you have Pinot Grigio Ramato, which, us wine geeks love this. This is very cool. I want you to talk a little bit about that. Tell people about it. And then also the Sauvignon Blanc, which we said was like a powerhouse of lychee nuts.
Yeah. So first we are growers. This is very important because as I mentioned you before, we are not here to promote a new celebrity brand. We are here to promote a real good wine, natural wine, terroir driven, authentic, natural, and this is my job. To make sure the message is very clear to the consumer. And so far we are doing really good. As you know, Friuli is a DOC area for Prosecco. Actually, it's the homeland of Prosecco. Prosecco is the name of the village near the capital of Friuli, Trieste, where the Glera grape was produced by the beginners. It's the beginning, Glera took the name, is aromatic grape varietal, and took the name by a stream, a little river from the village of Prosecco.
Which I think is confusing to a lot of people, because I think a lot of people just think Prosecco
Yeah.
is Prosecco grape, but it's not. So I'm glad you're clearing that up for everybody.
Glera is the name of the grape, and it's a aromatic varietal that has been growing in Friuli Venezia Giulia in the village of Prosecco for centuries. And in about 10 years ago became an appellation, Prosecco DOC, which today is one of the most important appellation for Italian sparkling wines. It's doing super well. We are talking about a huge amount of wine, 650 million bottles produced every year. And of course, at my family and my vineyards, Fantinel, we have about 60 hectares of Prosecco. And the best selection is dedicated to the Sun Goddess range of wine that we do with Blige.
Let's check this Prosecco out real quick, if you guys don't mind. I'm sure you've tasted it, but you know, it never hurts. It's what, 3 in the afternoon?
Yeah.
Should have something. 'Cause I know you guys have a big dinner tonight, I believe, right?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Salute. Cheers.
So you should know as well that Sun Goddess is Mary J. Blige nickname. And her sister and mother, they call her since she was a kid Sun Goddess, because she loves to go to the beach to take the sun. She loves Florida. She's always, when she has free time, in Miami. And when we were talking about wines, the inspiration was her name, because even this is the perfect place. You know, Florida is the state of sun, and Sun Goddess is really a beautiful, you know, brand for this market.
Yeah, it's summer all year here.
Yeah. And I mean, Friuli is all about terroir and microclimates. Since we are northeast, we are just under the Dolomites of Friuli. We are able to keep this acidity high, which is important to refresh your palate. But overall, the cool nights we have in summer are preserving the flavors and the aroma, the aromatics of the wines. And Glera is aromatic variety like Sauvignon Blanc and like Pinot Grigio. And so in this glass you can find a lot of fruit. Is different from Prosecco, from Veneto, for instance, because here the yield is much lower. We grow our vineyards in stones, because we are in between two rivers, Tagliamento and Meduna. Yield is very low, so we have a natural fruit concentration that you find in the glass. So this is really a beautiful glass of Prosecco.
It's nice and it's rich for Prosecco, right?
Very
It's got
rich,
a good, good cling on your palate. You know, it holds there. And the acid's still there. It's still there.
Yeah, the acid is perfect for this climate. Now, I mean, outside is 100 degrees. You need something that is refreshing.
It's 106 degrees in England today. I mean, it's summer everywhere.
Yeah, they're gonna drink a lot of Prosecco these days.
Absolutely.
And like in a stair step, like where would you go from the Prosecco? Would you go to Sauvignon Blanc or would you go to Pinot Grigio?
I would suggest the Pinot Grigio first. Pinot Grigio Ramato.
Yeah.
I want to underline this little, word Ramato, because once upon a time in Friuli, all the Pinot Grigio was Pinot Grigio Ramato, because my grandfather, for instance, in the 60s didn't have the technology to separate the skin from the juice. And as you know, Pinot Grigio, not everybody they believe is a white grape. No, Pinot Grigio is a red grape. It's a mutation of Pinot Noir. And if you, if you don't separate right away the skin from the juice, you get a white wine. Otherwise, you do a maceration, you extract right away to extract colors, anthocyanins, tannins, and you have a better Pinot Grigio. That's why when Mary J. Blige came to the vineyards, he said, why? I mean, why? Why the Pinot Grigio is a white wine and you are showing me a red grape? Because this is, and what do you do if you do a maceration? You do a rosé or a blush wine or orange wine. And so let's go. I mean, I want to make the Pinot Grigio authentic.
I'd like to show everybody that color. I mean, it is kind of like rosé, almost like the color of Provence rosé, a little oranger though, right?
Orange, because the color, when you do extraction from the skin of Pinot Grigio, you get the orange wine.
And it really works well with the label too. I think
Yeah.
it just fits in perfectly. I forgot to bring a bucket, so I'm going to use this bucket here.
So what you should know is that Mary has been involved in every single detail on the wine style, on the production, on the style of the wines, and on the label, on the design of the label. So I think this is for her very important, because she said, Marco, if I make something, I have millions of followers, a million people, they love me, I need to provide something at a very high level. Cannot be a commercial product. Must be a product when you open the bottle, you can feel the soul and the passion and the love of what we are doing inside the bottle. And I believe even with this Pinot Grigio, you can, get this, soul.
Well, for people like me, and you guys are in the wine business, we like these like cool. I mean, for you grew up with this. You didn't know it was cool. You just knew it was.
Yeah, right.
It was like La Familia, right? It's what we do.
Right.
But for people like us, when we started hearing about orange wine, and then finding out this was Pinot Grigio, Romatico, like you're like, wait a minute, this is old. What old is new? And so you search for these wines. And at first, when we were searching for these wines, we couldn't even find one here. We knew they were popular in Italy and in Europe, but we could not find one. So when the first one came, I was like, I'll buy it.
You're right.
Yeah.
And then, this is beautiful that you guys would come out with this. That Mary J would say, Romatico, I'm gonna teach the world, because it's still small, right?
Yeah.
It's still small here in the United States.
Yeah, and you got to think about Mary J. Blige. I mean, she's a global icon and a trendsetter, and iconic in American culture. Iconic in the industry around hip hop and R&B. So she's always been a trendsetter, and so choosing this style of wine, as kind of like the ethos of the brand, I think it just works perfectly in terms of really bringing consumers new concepts, new music, right? New types of wine, right? And I think it.
And new locations.
New
really.
location.
I mean, Friuli's been around. We know that some of the best Pinot Grigios in the world come from Friuli. We just know that. That's just something I've known for years. My dad's an Italian. He's trained me well to know regions, and I think for her to come to you, Marco, and say, this is where I'm going to make my wine. It's pretty big.
Yeah.
That this is the location.
Look, and a friend of mine is a very important journalist here in America, Ray Eisler from Food and Wine. He told me, this is the most cool thing Mary J could do, because for her could be very easy to go to Tuscany, to Piedmont, to Provence to make a rosé. It would be another rosé. She's able now to make sure that, she's not a wine expert, but she has chosen an amazing region for great wines. And so this is an innovation somehow, for an artist, because they follow
the trends. They follow
Mary, she want to make
start something.
The trend.
Start the trend. And then again, I can't tell you how excited we are about that wine. I mean, it's just fun to have those wine. And again, brilliant marketing,
Right.
because you put it in a clear bottle. We talked about how we see a lot of these orange wines in darker, green bottles, where you can't really see that color. And that's really important to the consumer, that they see a Sauvignon Blanc is the color it's supposed to be, a Rosé is the color it's supposed to be. So kudos on that pick. Yeah, very good. And then the Sauvignon Blanc we talked about earlier.
Yeah, Sauvignon, one of the best 3 regions in the world where to make Sauvignon. Everybody knows New Zealand, everybody knows the area of Bordeaux, but Friuli, or the hillside of Collio, is considered one of the best places where to make Sauvignon Blanc. And it's one of very important varietal for our region, and it's coming really well, and we decided to launch the range with 3 wines that is a perfect expression of the quality of Friuli Venezia Giulia. And so we choose the Sauvignon Blanc, which is really an amazing wine.
Again, thinking outside the box. She didn't go to New Zealand. right? She can go to Cellar. She came to you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
And again, that also brings in, I think, a crowd to know, hey, there's Sauvignon Blancs made in Italy, you know, because that's not the first place people go.
Right.
I mean, in
No,
our store, we have
for
so
sure,
many,
yeah.
you know, variations of many different things you can choose from. But, you know, for her to decide that that's going to be her Sauvignon Blanc, I just love that that is the
Yeah.
location she chose.
Yeah. And it's showing really good. I mean, today, I mean, you know, Sauvignon is one of the most difficult white grape varietal to vinificate because it's changing all the time. One day it's good, during the harvest, one day it's beautiful, the other day it's closed, there's no nose, where is the nose? And you get crazy with the winemakers, you have made the mistake, no, wait, you know, you need, is a kind of wild grape, you know, to make. And but today, for instance, we tried before this is winter 2020. We are tasting this amazing evolution, very tropical. We have a lot of Blige in the nose and palate. You have this minerality that is keeping the wine, you know, there in your palate for very long. And the fact we are close to the mountain, you have beautiful acidity that is. You know, allowing the wine to refresh your mouth. It's a perfect wine for this climate, for seafood, for sashimi, from tempura, for you know, let's say seafood in general.
Yeah, shellfish, things like that.
Yeah.
And then, as far as you know, you have your own label too that you produce, right?
We are one of the most important growers from Friuli Venezia Giulia. We have 3 wineries. We have in the plain of Friuli the main Fantinel winery where we do our sparkling with the label Fantinel. We have a beautiful property Tenuta Sant'Elena in Collio, in the village of Dolegna del Collio, and then we are up in the mountains of Friuli with La Roncaia. So. Grape production, selective. We do a lot of local indigenous grape varietals like Ribola Gialla, Tokai Friulano, Refosco dal Peduncolo Rosso, Piccolit, Ramandolo. So we are very connected to
We gotta get some of those.
traditional grapes and it's our heritage, you know.
You were always in this business? Was your family in this business? Yeah. So
yeah, I was growing
like me?
in the vineyards with my grandfather. I remember driving the tractor. I was kid playing in the vineyards, and so I have wine in my blood.
In your blood.
No blood.
I think that reminds me of a story. I remember like tasting wine with my dad, and I was, you know, I was probably 16, 17 years old. I really didn't know much about wine, you know, and then he tasted me a Montepulciano di Abruzzo, which, you know, is like an everyday drinking wine, right? But I think because that's my genes, and I think I like, whoa, that is so good. That's the best wine I've ever tasted. And my dad's like giggling, you know, because he knows it's just like everyday drinking wine, but it tasted so good to me. And then, Chuck, how did you get involved in the wine business? Is it through, you know, just, were you always in the trade in the Carolinas? Were you...
Yeah, so I've been in the been fortunate enough to be in the beer, wine, and spirit for 17 years.
Wow.
And so my passion is really around innovation, you know, and primarily on the commercial side. You know, bringing new brands to the markets, to U.S. markets. I'm really excited about the opportunity with Sun Goddess. And recruiting new consumers into the wine category.
Yeah, because it's good.
Yeah.
We need more people involved in this business. I think that's the greatest part about, you know, about having a store with multiple locations in the wine industry involved, because you're able to bring in people that are interested in different wines throughout the entire world. And I think that's a really important thing, is that, you know, sometimes when I go to, you know, are you going to find many, you know, Spanish wines in Tuscany? You're not,
No.
right? You're not. I mean, so I think that's a bonus sometimes being here, is we do get to be able to reach different parts of the globe with, you know, telling people, hey, you should try this. If you never tried this, you should try this. You've never tried this. And I can tell you right now, you should all try Sun Goddess. You can come in our store and taste it this Friday night. We'll be tasting 2 of those wines, and then and again, we talked about maybe the next time you're in town, maybe do something with you.
Yeah.
But and there's my poodle. He just interrupted the whole thing. But Chuck, thank you so much.
Thank
Marco,
you.
thank you so
Grazie
much.
mille.
Appreciate
Was
it. Yeah, thanks again.
Great pleasure.
Thanks, thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Cheers, cheers.
Cheers.
Salute.
Cheers.
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 Cheers, Roy.